Good evening. Welcome to the virtual public information meeting for state project number 301-195, the Darien Railroad Station Improvements Project. My name is Jure Kulgis, and I am the department's design project manager for this project. We appreciate your participation and time to attend this meeting in this venue. We hope by the end of the meeting, you will have a clear understanding of the proposed project. Tonight's agenda include opening remarks by the first selectman from the town of Darien. Next, I will introduce the project team. We will go over the virtual meeting overview and the Title VI Civil Rights information. Our design consultant, BHB, will then go over the existing conditions and the reasons we are here presenting this project. BHB will also give a detailed project overview. And finally, we will have a questions and answers session. So let me start introducing the first selectman from the town of Darien, Jamie Stevenson. Jamie?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jamie Stevenson, Darien's first selectman here, to welcome and thank you for participating in tonight's public information meeting on the upcoming Darien train station rehabilitation project. I want to express my gratitude to Connecticut DOT and their project team, particularly during our COVID environment, for their continued investment in the town of Darien. In more normal times, commuting and amenities for our commuters is vital to our community. We may have a new normal after the pandemic, but it will surely include robust use of the Metro-North Railroad. It hasn't been too long since CONDOT made improvements to this station. Back in 2003, the station received significant ADA compliance upgrades. The 2021 project includes the rollout of some exciting platform technology, electric heated fiber reinforced panels, and I believe that the Darien station will be the first in the state to have these heated platforms installed. Thanks again for taking time to attend this evening's presentation.
Thanks, First Selectman Jamie Stevenson. Let me now introduce the project team. On the left side are pictures of the three presenters for tonight's presentation. Starting from the top, that's me, Jure Kulgis. I serve as the design project manager. In the left middle, you see John McNickey. John serves as the design project engineer. And in the lower left picture is Tony Sardilli. Tony is the project manager from BHB, our design consultant. On the right side, starting from the top, is Richard Jankovic. Richard is the department's rail administrator. John Bernick is the department's assistant rail administrator. Jayantha Mather is the principal engineer from the Office of Rail's design unit. Sarah Cadet is the engineer for this project. Edward Gentile is the director of public works from the town of Darien. And finally, we have David Wilcock. David is the national director from BHB. With that, I will turn the presentation over to the project engineer, John McNickey. John will go over the virtual meeting overview and the Title VI Civil Rights slides. John?
Thank you, Yuri, and good evening, everyone. As Yuri mentioned, my name is John McNickey, and I am the project engineer assigned to this proposal. Tonight, it'll be my pleasure to provide a brief overview of the virtual public information meeting. This meeting is live and recorded. The recording from tonight's virtual meeting will be posted on the project's webpage, which is portal.ct.gov/DOT DARIEN 0301-0195. Individuals with limited internet access can follow along with tonight's meeting via telephone by calling 1-888-566-6583 and entering the participant code 4566483 when prompted. Now let's go over the 3 ways that you can communicate with the project team during tonight's question and answer session. You can reach us by email at dotproject0301-0195@ct.gov. You can call us and leave us a voicemail at 860-944-1111, or you can utilize the MS Teams live event chat. We will review how to use the MS Teams live event chat a little later. The project team will be reviewing all 3 methods of communication and posting the questions into the MS Teams Q&A chat log, as well as reading them aloud. Questions will be answered during the Q&A portion of the evening only. If you are unable to ask a question during tonight's meeting or think of additional questions after the meeting is ended, you can email your questions to the project's email address, which I'll repeat. It is dotproject0301-0195@ct.gov. Or you can leave a voicemail at 860-944-1111. Please note that if you choose to leave a voicemail after tonight's meeting, you will need to reference the project number in your voicemail. The project number again is 0301-0195. You can leave us your additional comments and questions until the public comment period closes, which is November 4th. To ask a question using the MS Teams live event chat, select Q&A on the right side of the screen, type your question in the compose box, and then select send. If you would like to ask your question anonymously, select Ask Anonymously first, and then send your question. No person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. The department strives to effectively engage all stakeholders in a consultative process from the earliest stages of project development, and we are always looking to improve this process. As such, we encourage you to take our post-meeting survey. A link to the survey is shown on the screen and can be found on the aforementioned project webpage. Now, Tony from VHB will discuss with you the existing conditions, why we are here, and a project overview.
Thank you, John, and good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Sardilli, and I am the VHB Project Manager. We have been retained by the Connecticut Department of Transportation to provide design and engineering services for the Darien Railroad Station Improvements Project. The Darien Railroad Station is located along the Boston Post Road between West Avenue and Squab Lane. The station is part of the Connecticut Commuter Rail North Railroad, providing both westbound and eastbound service to passengers. The station features 2 850-foot-long high-level side platforms, each with canopies on the east ends. A historic station building is located on the north side of the site and provides a waiting area and restroom facilities. Approximately 860 parking spaces are available, with parking lots on either side of the tracks, both east and west of the station. Pedestrian access to the station is provided by sidewalks on the streets adjacent to the station site, with elevators at both the northeast and southeast ends of the platform. ADA access from one platform to the other, as well as between street level and platform level, is provided by the elevators. The station is owned by the Connecticut Department of Transportation, with the town of Darien providing maintenance. This all sounds pretty good. So why are we here? In 2016, the Connecticut Department of Transportation commissioned an assessment of 43 of Connecticut's commuter rail stations. Under the program, an evaluation, visual inspection, and limited physical testing of items such as the platforms, canopies, and station buildings was conducted. This included evaluations of architectural, structural, mechanical, and electrical systems, as well as a check of ADA elements for compliance. The information collected from the assessment was used to establish current conditions at each station in order to develop a prioritized repair and improvement program. In 2017, the final condition evaluation and repair recommendations report found that the Darien Railroad Station ranked as the station in most need of repairs. At the Darien Station, deficiencies include deteriorated concrete platforms and other concrete elements, such as the platform foundations, non-ADA compliant elements, such as ramps with greater than allowable slopes, and historically problematic and often out of service elevators. As part of this project, we are going to address those deficiencies, and then some. Highlights of the proposed project construction include the following. Replacement of 4 catenary structures within the project limits. This includes the structure at the east end of the project, which will be reconstructed on the outside of the platform and canopy. The existing concrete double T platforms are proposed to be replaced with electric heated fiber reinforced polymer, or FRP, transit panels. For those of you familiar with Norotan Heights, a similar approach will be taken here, with the exception that at Norotan Heights, non-heated precast concrete panels were installed. And I'll go into more detail on the heated FRP transit panel system in a few minutes. The existing concrete stair and ramp structures to and from the platforms will be replaced with heated FRP systems. The landings for these stairs and ramps will also receive a heated FRP overlay to prevent icing conditions. New guardrails and handrails will be installed on the platforms, ramps, stairs, and walkways to ensure ADA compliance. Both existing electric traction elevators will be replaced with more robust hydraulic units, which will also require the installation of new, larger machine control rooms. In addition, a full-length windscreen vestibule system will be installed at the elevator entrances. All existing platform and canopy signage will be replaced with new signage meeting current requirements. All existing platform, ramp, and stair lighting will be replaced. In areas not covered by canopies, new freestanding poles will be installed off of the platforms and will utilize LED fixtures. Lighting attached to the existing platform canopies to remain will be replaced with new LED fixtures. New electrical services will be provided to each platform to power the station lighting as well as the electric heated FRP platforms, ramps, and stairs. In addition, the design includes a natural gas-fired standby generator that will provide emergency power for the platforms with the exception of the heating system, as well as to the elevators and the station building heating system. Proposed Construction Plan 1 shows an overview of the west half of the project. The new catenary structures are shown in dark blue, the heated FRP platforms in yellow, heated FRP stair and ramp access structures in light blue, concrete sidewalks with heated FRP overlay in purple, and new concrete sidewalks and stairs in orange. With the exception of a new combination ramp stair access structure on the north side, we are essentially replacing the station elements in kind. Proposed Construction Plan 2 shows an overview of the east half of the project. As with Construction Plan 1, the new catenary structures are shown in dark blue, the heated FRP platforms in yellow, heated FRP stair and ramp access structures in light blue, concrete sidewalks with heated FRP overlay in purple, and new concrete sidewalks and stairs in orange. This slide also gives you a better feel for the extent of the new concrete sidewalks being proposed. As I mentioned earlier, one of the elements unique to this project is the use of electric heated FRP transit panels for the platform surface. In the section on the left of this slide, it looks similar to what was done at Norotan Heights in that the existing platform foundations will be repaired, new concrete pedestals will be built, and a steel stringer system will be installed to support the platform surface, in this case, the FRP panels. The exploded view on the right gives you a better idea of the heated FRP transit panel system itself. 2 foot deep by 4 foot wide individual modular FRP units sit inside 10 foot deep steel panel frames. Each modular FRP unit contains an integrated heating membrane and a textured non-slip walkable surface. The only exception is the unit at the front or track side of the platform will have an FRP tactile warning surface panel installed on top. All FRP units, including the one with the tactile warning surface, will be heated. Now that you have an idea of what the station is going to look like at the end, I'm sure many of you are wondering what it's going to be like during construction and how it's going to impact you. With that, let me show you how, at this time, we are planning to get there. I'll start with the construction staging and laydown area. While coordination between the Connecticut Department of Transportation and the town of Darien is ongoing, at this time, we anticipate the contractor will utilize the extreme west end of the Leroy West parking lot. Both the contractor and the state, who will be overseeing construction, would have their field trailers in this location. In addition, the contractor would use the area to store materials and equipment throughout the duration of construction. Now on to the construction stages themselves. Construction stage 1 focuses on the catenary system and has an anticipated duration of 6 months. 4 new catenary structures will be built to the west of the existing structures, including relocating the easternmost catenary structure from within the platform to behind it. The wires associated with the catenary system will be relocated, and finally, the existing structures will be removed. As shown in red hatching, parking spaces on both the north and south sides of the tracks will be temporarily lost in this stage to accommodate the work. Construction stage 2 focuses on the removal and replacement of the existing platforms and access structures on the east half of the north platform. With an anticipated duration of 7 months, this stage also includes construction of new elevator machine rooms on both the north and south sides, rehabilitation of both the north and south elevators, including installation of full-length windscreen vestibule systems, installation of the north side electrical service, including provisions for the emergency standby generator, as well as other incidental works such as new canopy-mounted lighting. This stage requires a temporary loss of parking spaces on both the east and west sides of the existing station building. Of note is that both elevators will be out of service for the duration of this stage. With the east half of the north platform and rehabilitation of both elevators complete and open to the traveling public, construction stage 3 focuses on the removal and replacement of the existing platforms and access structures on the west half of the north platform. With an anticipated duration of 6 months, this stage also includes other incidental work such as sidewalks and new light poles and fixtures. Parking spaces west of the existing station building will be temporarily lost in this stage to accommodate the work. With the north platform complete and fully open to the traveling public, work shifts to the south side. Construction stage 4 focuses on the removal and replacement of the existing platforms and access structures on the east half of the south platform. With an anticipated duration of 6 months, this stage also includes incidental work such as new canopy-mounted lighting. This stage requires the temporary loss of parking spaces behind the platform on the south side to accommodate the work. Of note is that the closure of the east half of the south platform also requires that the new elevator on the south side be taken out of service for the duration of this stage. With the east half of the south platform complete and open to the traveling public, construction stage 5 focuses on the removal and replacement of the existing platforms and access structures on the west half of the south platform. With an anticipated duration of 6 months, this stage also includes incidental work such as sidewalks and new light poles and fixtures. Parking spaces behind the platform, as well as along Squab Lane, will be temporarily lost in this stage to accommodate the work. At this time, construction is anticipated to be complete by the summer of 2024, which brings us to the project schedule. The project is currently in the semi-final design phase, with the 60% design expected to be submitted by the end of the year. Design completion is anticipated in June of 2021, at which time the contract documents will be processed by the Connecticut Department of Transportation and the project put out to bid. Contractor notice to proceed is anticipated in November of 2021, and construction is expected to start in February of 2022. Based on the durations noted in the previous slides, the construction completion date is currently estimated to be July of 2024. I will now turn things back over to Yuri for the question and answer session. Yuri?
Thanks, Tony. So that concludes our presentation. Again, this meeting has been recorded and can be accessed on the project website. Please check the project website to participate in the post-meeting survey pertaining to tonight's event, ask additional questions, or view project plans and information. We are now going to enter the live question and answer session. We will take as many questions as we can. Please feel free to use the Microsoft Teams live chat feature or call us at 860-944-1111 or email us at dotproject0301-0195 at ct.gov. The comment period again is open until November 4th. And so we will see what we have for comments.
Good evening, everybody. So far during the presentation, we've got a couple of questions. We'll start with the first one, which came in via the chat, and it's, would CTDOT consider including the construction of extended canopies on the New York bound side? The response was provided by our rail administrator, Mr. John Burnick. John?
Thank you, John. Well, once again, I'm John Burnick, Assistant Rail Administrator at the Department of Transportation. Thank you for that question. And this question does come up often when we do even new stations or rehabilitations. And Connecticut certainly does recognize the convenience and the need to have full canopy coverage. However, the canopies tend to be one of the most expensive elements in some of these projects. In this case, in Darien, we're part of a larger program. As Yuri had mentioned, there's a number of platforms along the system that we're watching, and we need to move along quickly after Darien to move on to some of the other platforms in the system. In order to have sufficient funding to continue the program, we need to somewhat hold the line on enhancements. We certainly do want to do the project right, and that's why, you know, in replacing the platforms, it made sense to replace them with the heated FRP. You know, the replacement of the lights to go to the LED makes sense since you're replacing anyway. And of course the elevator work to make sure that the station is functioning correctly when we leave. However, when it comes to enhancements, we have to somewhat hold the line to protect the budget of the project and the larger program, so that we can continue to work on other needed station projects along the line. And once again, thank you for that question.
Thanks, John. So the next question came in via the chat, and it came in from Kip Coons. And his question is, I'm on the Board of Selectmen. My question is, what experience have you had with FRP surfaces that have been exposed to weather and reasonably heavy pedestrian traffic, specifically the expected life of the surface? That answer will be provided by our consultant, Tony Sardilli from VHB. Tony?
Thank you, John, and thank you, Kip. Yes, with FRP panels, FRP transit panels are relatively new in the industry. However, you know, the use of FRP is not. That's been going on for quite some time now. We have, you know, direct experience with stations outside of Connecticut. In the design end, the Connecticut DOT is also implementing them currently on the Windsor Short High Level Platform project on the Hartford line, and is in design on the East Norwalk station to use them as well. And speaking with vendors, plenty of examples of them being used in New Jersey, New York, and even Chicago, which was a rather impressive, given the winters and the harsh elements and cold. I think we all know from a year or two ago how cold their winters were. And it's pretty impressive how well they work and how they stand up and withstand the elements out there. Typically, there is a 50-year lifespan, roughly, on the FRP panels, according to the vendors' testing and information they've given us. And most of them will warranty them for a period of 10 to 25 years. So we're fairly confident that they will outperform the lifespan of a typical concrete platform, especially given their makeup of fiber reinforced polymer and not subject to the deterioration corrosion from salt and sanding that typically happens every winter.
Thanks, Tony. So we have another question in via the chat. It's from Jim Cameron. And the question is, are the FRP panels you plan to use the same as were used on the new Milford Railroad Station on Hartford Line? How have they worked out? That question will be answered by our project manager, Mr. Yuri Kuljas.
Thanks, John. And thanks, Jim. You know, just so you know, Jim, you know, we did not install any FRP panels at the Milford Railroad Station. So just wanted to clarify, you know, currently we don't have any panels on the main line. So this could be the first station. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Yuri. So We have a couple of other questions that we're working on currently. I would like to take this time to reiterate that you can leave us a voicemail at 860-944-1111 if you're unable to do so in the chat. In addition to the phone number and the voicemail, you can also send us an email if, again, the MS Teams live chat doesn't work for you. And that email address is on the screen, which is also dotproject03010195@ct.gov. And we also implore you to please take the post-meeting survey because, again, the department strives to make this process as consultative as possible. And any way we can enhance that process, we would value that feedback. All right, next question came in via the chat, and it's from Jamie Stevenson. And the question is, will CTDOT have an alternative ADA compliant plan when the elevators are out of service? And that question will be answered by Tony Sardelli. Tony?
Thanks, John, and thank you, Jamie. Yes, we will have a plan in place. We are, as I mentioned earlier, we are currently approaching the 60% design submission, and that is a key component and inclusion in the design of how we will handle ADA access during the times that the elevators are out of service. We will have some sort of signage plan, and the contract will have to implement that during construction and ensure that the safe flow of all pedestrians, including ADA.
Thank you, Tony. All right, next question came in via chat, and it's from Mr. Cameron. Are the plans to extend canopies where there are currently no canopies? I believe that was asked previously, but John, I don't know if you want to touch upon it again, or if you're good with the response you gave previously. John?
Yeah, he may not have heard it though. Just to reiterate, we do recognize that it's desirable to have full canopy coverage on the station platforms. We do get that request from and a lot of our station work. However, the canopies tend to be sometimes one of the most expensive elements of the project. We're looking to try to contain the scope and the cost of the project somewhat. We do have follow-on projects scheduled elsewhere along the New Haven line. There are a number of platforms that are approaching very serious condition, and so we want to try to protect the budget somewhat so that we can move on to some of the other platforms in the program. Once again, I want to reiterate that we are looking for the things that we do touch, that we provide the best product possible. Once again, replacing in kind the double T's with the heated FRP, since we're replacing those platforms anyway. That makes a lot of sense. The upgraded lighting, the changes to the elevators, etc.
Thanks, John. The next question came in from Mr. Coons again, and the question is what is the estimate cost of replacing the 4 catenaries, and why are they being replaced? So that question will be answered by Tony Sardelli. Tony?
Thank you, John. The current cost estimate is approximately $5 million for the catenary work. And again, we are in the, between the 30 and 60% design stage. We are continuing to refine the cost estimates as we move along. As for the need for replacement, these structures are, I would say, approximately 100 years old. And the DOT has had a program for several years now of upgrading and replacing the catenary structures along the entire New Haven line. And Darien, now that our project is here and we're ongoing with this, it was the right time and place to include the replacement of the structures within the project limits. John?
Thanks, Tony. So, excuse me for a second there. So we have a couple of questions coming in. We're currently working on a reply for them. Until we get that reply, I'd also like to mention that this project is something that's been in the pipeline for a little while, and the department's excited about it, and our partners at Darien are excited about it as well. All right, next question came in via the chat, and the question is why did the platforms at Norotan Heights not use FRP surfaces since the work was done just recently? And that will be answered by Yuri Kuljas, our project manager.
Thanks, John. And thanks, Charles. That's a good question. Just wanted to everyone know as the first selectman stated, this is the latest technology that we are applying at Darien. And even though Noroton Heights, we replaced the platform, and safety is our number one priority. Now we have a lot of information about the FRP, and this is the right time to actually do it in Darien. But that's the difference. It's the latest technology, and Noroton Heights was completed before that. So thank you for the question, Charles.
Thank you, Yuri. As we move along through the chat questions, we're working on a few more in the background here about as they come filtering in. We're doing our best to keep up with them and then get an answer out. The next question came in regarding, what FRP stations are currently in use along the Connecticut DOT has in service currently, and are there any on the Hartford line? Next question came from Mr. Cameron. Wasn't there a Hartford line station that was using FRP? And that question will be answered by Mr. Yuri Kuljas, the project manager. Sure.
So yes, just to let you know, Jim, yes, there is a station that use FRP panels. A little bit of different technology. They were not heated platforms, and there is the Hartford line at the Hartford station. So this is again the latest technology because we will be using the FRP heated platforms. So that's the difference. So I just wanted to let you know, Jim, as you mentioned, that it's the Hartford station on the Hartford line. Thanks for the question, Jim.
And Yuri, this is John Bernick again. Just to kind of fill in the blanks, and they are holding up really well. I was on that platform just recently, and I was very impressed. You can't see any wear at all in them, and that platform gets heavy use.
Thank you, John.
And John, if I can answer also the next question, I know it's also from Jim Cameron about maybe Meriden. And Jim, just so you know, yes, the Meriden station, it was part of the Hartford line. We did not use the FRP panels. It is a heated platform, but it is not FRP. Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Yuri. Thank you, John, for a little bit of insight into the use of FRP along the Connecticut line and what CTDOT's plans to expand them into other stations. So next question came in from Jim Cameron, and it's what are the plans in stage 4 to reposition the taxi queue on the eastbound southern platform? That answer will be provided by Tony Sardilli and in combination with Yuri Kuljas.
Great, thanks you, John. Thank you, John, and thanks, Jim. That's a great question, and we are in coordination with the town, and we have not yet determined exactly where the taxi queue will be relocated to, but it is something that will be addressed, and we will be coordinating and will be handled.
Thank you, Tony. Yuri, I believe that's everything we have for that response. I just want to double check with you.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct, John. Thank you.
Okay. So we are currently out of questions in the queue. While we have a little bit of lull in the action as we wait for more people to come up with more thoughtful questions for us to answer. Again, I just want to reiterate that these meetings really rely on public involvement and stakeholder engagement. And if you can take the post-meeting survey, a few seconds of your time would be greatly appreciated to help enhance future VPIMs in the world of COVID that we're currently living in. It's a bit of a departure from what we're all used to as far as holding these and getting that sort of personal feedback. And so anything we can do to enhance it would be great. Next question came in from Jamie Stevenson via the chat. And the question is, if the town of Darien could participate financially, would CTDOT consider further discussion on the extension of canopies? That question will be answered by John Bernick, our rail administrator. John?
I invite you to contact me and so we can discuss. That's it's an interesting proposition. So yeah, I'd certainly be willing to discuss it with you. As always. I think you have my contact information. You can always go through Pam. But feel free to reach out with me with any sort of what the proposal is, and I'd be happy to discuss it with you.
Thanks, John. So scanning through the chat log to see other questions that came in. The next question came in from Give me 1 second here. Mr. Cameron, and the question is, the total cost of the project is $34 million. Why is it so expensive? That question will be answered by Tony Sardilli of VHB. Tony?
Thank you, John, and thank you again, Jim. Another great question. First thing, I'd like to just explain a little bit about the cost estimate. The $34 million cost estimate is not what is expected to be the contractor bid. That is what we call an overall project cost estimate. So that includes items such as incidentals, which would include construction, engineering, and inspection. Excuse me. In other words, the state forces that you see out there inspecting and overseeing the contractor. It also includes utilities and railroad force accounts, so work by Metro North Railroad that needs to be done as part of this project. It also includes an inflation adjustment to bid opening, which currently we use 3.5% per year. And as we all know, that can change. So the number is a little bit skewed when you first just see the $34 million. And I'm sure, relative to Norotan Heights, we have the catenary work here that we didn't have at Norotan Heights. And as I mentioned earlier, that's approximately $5 million. We also have the 2 new elevators that are being replaced, which require new elevator machine rooms. And we're going to be installing full-length windscreen vestibule systems at those elevators. And then we're also incorporating a network infrastructure security upgrade. So new cameras and fiber optic backbone for the entire security system that's going in on the New Haven line. And then there's the FRP platforms themselves, which, initial cost up front is going to be more expensive, but in the long run and the service life, your true cost over time will be less than the concrete.
Thank you, Tony. So next question came in via the chat, and the question is any federal money helping cover this cost, or is it all state money? Is the funding for the project already in place or subject to potential budget cuts? This question came from Mr. Cameron, and it will be answered by Mr. John Bernick.
I'm going to have to scramble here unless Yuri can pipe in and let me know if we've got federal funding behind this. But the money is programmed, so it's included in our capital program, and based on our normal allocations of funding, we're expecting to be able to fund it. As far as any budget cuts that may come, it's really difficult to comment on that. There's a lot at play statewide related to budget, but based on our normal, based on what we're projecting, we're expecting that funding will be available.
And John, if I can add up to that, yes, right now the plan is to get some federal funds too to help with the project. So our finance unit is working on that.
Okay, so that would be part of our normal FTA formula grants.
That is correct, John.
Okay.
Thank you, Yuri and John. Next question came in via the chat from Mr. Coons, and the question is, of the $34 million estimated cost, please tell me what is the estimated construction cost and what is the other soft costs? The answer will be provided by Tony Sardilli. Tony?
Thank you, John. At this time, the total contract items that we anticipate, so essentially the contractor bid, is a little of about $21 million, roughly. We have another 11 million in change in what we consider engineering percentages. So the incidentals, contingencies, utilities, railroad force account, and items such as that. And that brings us up to a little over 32 million. And then approximately 1.4 million is being carried right now for inflation. And the rough total to $34 million.
Thank you, Tony. We received another sort of a statement from Jamie Stevenson. We will be sure to reach out through Ed Gentile to submit a request to the Darien Board of Selectmen for use of the back portion of Leroy West for the staging area. Thank you, Jamie, for the coordination effort. We greatly appreciate our partnership with the town of Darien. Next question came in via chat, and the question is, where will the proposed standby generator be located? That will be answered by Tony Sardelli of VHB.
Oh, thank you, John. Yes, the emergency standby generator that we're proposing for this project is going to be located on the north side. There's an existing utility storage shed building near West Avenue, and I'm going to attempt to share my screen here and zoom in a little bit and show you. Share. Okay, so you see I'm just using the construction stage 1 slide for now. So the existing utility shed storage building is located right where my cursor hand is right here. The proposed generator is going to be located approximately just 10-15 feet behind here right now. So in the area where my hand is. So on the north side between West Avenue and the platform on the north side with the canopies. There will be some impact to the trees in that area to put that in there, but there is going to be a landscape mitigation plan that will take care of that.
Thank you, Tony. Do you want to expand a little bit, Tony, about the purpose of the standby generator and, you know, a little bit about what we plan on doing there at Darien?
Sure, John, no problem. We, as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be 2 new electrical services, one on the north side and one on the south side, to feed the lighting for the platform. The electric heated FRP transit panel system will also be fed from the service. And then, you know, miscellaneous electrical, there will be, you know, convenience outlets for Metro North's use on light fixtures and other little items such as that. So the emergency generator will be located on the north side, but it will provide backup power to both the north and south sides. And as I mentioned in the earlier presentation, it will not provide heating for the platform. The load is just too much for a standby generator, but it will provide emergency lighting, and not just to the levels, you know, required for emergency lighting. It will be providing full lighting all the way on the platforms and down the ramps and stairs to the public way. And it will also be tied into the station building to provide heat for the building in the event of a power failure. Good, John?
Hi, Tony. Thank you. So it's been a little while that we've been on now, and I'd just like to reiterate that if you have any more questions for the team, we're here and we would like to answer them. You can reach us using the phone number 860-944-1111. You can leave us a voicemail, or you can drop us a line in our email. We're checking both of those in addition to the chat log. And we're also checking the chat, obviously. So we did get a new question in, and the question is from Mr. Cameron. And the Cameron is, Northern Heights platform work ran way behind schedule. Is there anything that can be done to expedite this job? Are there penalties for work delays? And that question will be answered by Tony Sardelli of VHB, and I'm sure some other members of the project team will jump in and helping to answer that.
Sorry, John, I was flipping through slides as you were reading that. I believe it was Norotan Heights and running beyond schedule and anything for expediting and liquidated damages.
Yeah, you know, it seems like it's a good question that lends itself towards talking about the FRP as well as some of our contract language.
Right, yes. I cannot speak to the reasoning that Norotan Heights may have run behind schedule. I can tell you, as through the design process, we develop what we call a calendar day schedule. So there's a certain number of calendar days the contractor has to complete the job. And if he does not, there are what are called liquidated damages. So for each day after such a specific number of calendar days, the contractor would be penalized a monetary amount for each of those days. I can also tell you from out of college several years back, I worked for one of the larger general contractors in Connecticut, and the contractor will do anything and everything they can to be out of there early and not be behind schedule, because every day they finish earlier is more money they will make. So I do know the contractors do what they can in their power to keep the schedule, if not beat the schedule. And again, I cannot speak to the specifics behind the Rutland Heights. So.
There's probably other people on the team that can speak to Northern Heights. I know there was,
Sure.
we had trouble getting the demolition done there because of track outage time and track outage needs. And, unfortunately, with a lot of our projects on the railroad, things are fluid, and a problem somewhere else on the line affects projects up and down the line. We've got a lot of work going on the line. We've been fortunate that even through the COVID time period, we've been able to get work done. In fact, we've been able to accelerate work down in the Norwalk area, CP 243. We got a lot of work done on the branch lines that would have taken us much longer. But this project, one of the benefits of this project is the fact that the modular nature of the FRPs lends itself to being able to, once you do get the demolition done, being able to construct quicker and with less impact on the active rail. These panels can be lifted in very easily. The steel beams are much easier to position than concrete elements. And so we're hoping to have better luck here, but it's I'm involved in coordinating all these jobs when there's conflicts between jobs, setting priorities, doing what makes sense to get the work done as quickly as possible. We view the New Haven line as a system. It really has to be treated that way, because one project certainly affects the other project, and of course we want to absolutely minimize impacts to the customers, and so sometimes that causes delay in projects.
Yeah, Tony again, Johnny, had great points, and I was going to just mention the same thing, right? We're designing in an active railroad environment, and we're going to be constructing in an active railroad environment, and the safety of the traveling public and the safety of the railroad and their operations are always paramount, and that does, at times it might, seem like it's taking longer than it would need to, and it does, but safety would come first in that.
Thank you, Tony and John. Great answers all around about Rutland Heights, as well as Darien, and how we hope to expedite the project, especially in today's COVID-19 environment. We had another comment from Jamie Stevenson. There's a natural gas line in West Ave. This may be a benefit to feed the generator. Tony, I believe you looked into the natural gas line that we plan to use to feed the generator and some of the benefits of that. I don't know if you have any more information to expand upon that.
Yes, John, just that we are and have been coordinating with Yankee Gas. We do intend to feed the generator from the gas line, either in West Avenue, and there is a service line that comes into the station today. So we are coordinating with them as to where is the best location for us to get our service for it. But that is the intent at this time, and as opposed to any other type with natural gas present, we definitely wanted to go that route.
Yeah, Tony, excellent point about utilizing natural gas for a standby generator. One of the things that it allows the station is to essentially keep the lights on indefinitely, being that, public transit is such a lifeline for communities, especially during storm events. We wanted to make sure that the station was still able to serve, our customers that we hold dear here at the Department of Transportation. So thanks again, Tony, for that response.
Right. Oh, and John, and if I can, I failed to mention earlier on the backup generator, but since we're on the topic, it's also going to be tied into the elevators. So the elevators will have emergency power.
Perfect. Thank you, Tony. All right. So moving along, we've answered all the questions via chat for right now, and we've answered the majority of questions that have come in, actually all the questions that have come in. We did receive...
It's also going to be tied into the elevators. So the elevators will have emergency power.
We did receive one more question via the chat, and it's, how long will the elevators be out of service, or will the elevators be out of service? And that'll be answered by Tony Sardilli of VHP.
Okay, thanks, John. Yes, the elevators will be out of service. I'm just dropping back in, starting in stage 2, when we're doing work on the east half of the north platform. We are also going to do the elevator on that side as well as on the southeast corner. So they will be out of service for the approximate 7 months for the duration of that stage. And we moved these relatively early in the construction as we could, knowing the historic problems that these elevators have, and they're often out of service. So that was a priority, something we wanted to address as soon as we possibly could during construction. And then, as I mentioned, when we move into construction stage 4, we're on the east half of the south platform doing the work. And because the platform itself is taken out of service, the stairs from street level to platform level are going to be replaced as well. So again, for safety and access reasons, we will be taking out the elevator on the southeast side out of service during this stage for approximately 6 months. The elevator on the northeast side will be operational then. And to Jamie's earlier question, we will have an ADA mitigation plan in place.
Thanks, Tony. That's another thorough response about the elevators. We have one more question came in via chat, and that question is, will you be removing any trees as part of the project? And once again, Mr. Sardilli will be walking us through the nuances of that.
So yes, we will be impacting, I'm just picking a good slide. This is a good enough slide to use, stage 1. We will be impacting trees. We will be impacting some landscaping. The extent is not fully defined. Again, we're approaching the 60% design stage. We will be honing in on that. So there will be some impacts. Again, as I mentioned earlier, on the north side in the area near the utility building, which is going to actually be, a portion of it will be converted into an electrical, basically an electrical room for service. On the north side, the standby emergency generator will be located behind it. We will have a new transformer in front of it, and then this area will receive all new landscaping. And in coordinating with the department, we are doing work out in this area. It's sloped down at 2 to 1. There are some wetlands in this area, which we will be staying away from. However, there is the potential, and there will be some impacts on the slope over here. And the DOT, I know, is developing a landscaping mitigation plan to replace with equal to and better landscaping than is there today. And I guess there's a little bit of impact as well anticipated on the northwest end. So, but all landscape disturbed will be replaced.
Thank you, Tony. All right, next question came in via chat, and it's from Jim Cameron, and the question is, the elevators have been very problematic at Darien Station. Will the new ones be more reliable? Who will maintain them? This will probably be another multi-team member approach to answer this question, but taking the lead one's going to be Tony Sardilli. Tony?
Great, thanks again. Yes, the new elevators, we will be replacing the existing electric traction elevators with more robust hydraulic units. This requires new machine control rooms to be installed. Those are going to be installed up on the platform level, and they're definitely a more robust elevator than what is out there today, designed for more harsher environments. And as I mentioned, we are going to also be installing full-length windscreen vestibule systems to provide additional protection. Out there today, those elevators are really battered by the elements, and it's not helped. And I do understand that they've been out of service a lot, and they're historically problematic. So yes, the new ones will be better and more reliable.
And if I may add to that, to that question and to the answer about who will maintain them. So just so you know, Jim, it will be the town of Darien. We have a good relationship. That's right now the maintenance and operation is being managed by the town of Darien, so that we are not making any changes to that.
Thank you, Yuri and Tony, for your answers. So for right now, we don't have any more questions that came in via the chat or on the phone or email. We will take a look for a second here and see if anything else comes in. Pause for a quick minute and see if we get any more questions. It's a good time now to sort of reiterate some of the project duration. You know, we're looking at hopefully a shortened time frame to be expedited by use of new and novel materials via the FRP. Hopefully that FRP will, not hopefully, but the FRP will definitely expedite construction process by minimizing pick weights and making the overall construction go faster without having to have as much impact on the railroad. That would be the overall goal of utilizing FRP.
And John, if I could just add to that, you know, we are also coordinating with Metro North. As John Bernick had mentioned, that there's a lot of work going on New Haven line, and we will be meeting with them routinely and coordinating even more to see what, if any, track outages or any possibilities that we can take advantage of work they're doing on the line to expedite this project.
Thank you, Tony. We received another question via the chat. It's from Jamie Stevenson. The question is an issue for future coordination with CTDOT roadways. The railroad underpass on both Route 1 and Leroy flood regularly. Commuters are negatively impacted by the drainage problems at these town pedestrian passageways. That question will be answered probably in combination with myself and Mr. John Bernick. One of the things, that's a good point, Jamie, to bring up about the flooding in the CTDOT roadways. It's one of the reasons why we look to move the mechanical rooms for the elevators out of the floodplain and up onto the platform. It allows us to harden the infrastructure at Darien while still being able to provide pedestrian egress in and out of the station that's ADA compliant. As far as the coordination with CTDOT roadways, we will take that issue back to the department to look at ways to mitigate that. I don't know, John, if you have anything else to add about that particular comment.
Yeah, that's been a chronic problem, and Jamie, I am aware of it. If I recall correctly, I think the outlet for the pipe is like below the water line or something like that, you know, where it outlets. And so water tends to back up into there. Of course, you're faced with, a classic problem that recreates itself up and down the line where, you dip the roadway to try to get it under the bridge so you don't get as many bridge strikes. And in doing so, sometimes, drainage, becomes challenging. And so, yes, an issue for future coordination, absolutely. And to John's comments there, that's certainly one that we'll bring back.
Thank you, John. We have one thing we'd like to bring everyone's attention, again, about the survey. We have the post-meeting survey. It's important that, most everybody try to take that if they've attended the meeting in order to give us with the valuable feedback to enhance this process. For right now, the survey has been posted in the chat. You can click it now and use it and take the survey. And the feedback will come directly back to the department for our review and integration into the future presentations. We had one more question come in, and the question came in via chat. The question is, will the train schedule change during the construction part of the project? This question will be answered by Tony and myself. For right now, it's not anticipated that the construction should affect the schedule or the train schedule during the construction project. The footprint of the project itself will be done outside of the footprint of the track. There will not be a need to reroute or reschedule trains in order to accommodate the construction project. It's not as invasive as, say, installing a switch or, even with the catenary work, we're still not that invasive that would require us to have to reschedule trains or delay a train if need be in order to facilitate this project. Tony, I'm not sure if you have anything else to add about that.
No, I would just agree, John, that, at this time, with coordination with Metro North, we do not see any reason that the train schedule would change as a result of this construction project.
Thank you, Tony. So we'll continue to wait to see if any more questions come in. We want to make sure that we have as much participation in this project as possible and that all of your questions and comments are heard, and we have a chance to answer them for this evening. If you do not have a chance to answer this, or if you have any other additional questions that may come to mind, or if you're talking with friends and colleagues about the project that's forthcoming to the town, you can, again, drop us a line at 860-944-1111. You can leave us a voicemail. Please reference the project number when you leave that voicemail for us after tonight's event, as you know, it will be in a general mailbox, and the project number is crucial in us identifying and make sure that comment gets to the appropriate project staff for inclusion and consideration in this project as we move forward with the design. You can also send us an email. For those listening along on the telephone, I'll read it out. It's dotproject-01-0195@ct.gov. If you send us an email, again, it's a direct conduit to the DOT project team. We'll be able to consider that comment or question that you have in the design phase as we move forward. The public comment period for this project does end on November 4th, so you have a little bit of time to collaborate and get into us any questions if you have such. Again, I know I've been kind of bringing it back up again, but the post-meeting survey, if you have a chance, please take it. It really helps us out with refining this process in order to be as inclusive as possible. Let me refer back to the chat log to see if we have any other questions that came in for us to answer.
And John, there is a comment from Jim Cameron. You know, it's just a comment saying, "Thanks, gentlemen. Nice presentation and Q&A, very helpful. Good luck with the project." So the department would like to thank Jim Cameron. Thank you, Jim, for all your support, for your questions, you know, and comments. So we're looking forward to continue with the design and construct this project. So thank you, Jim.
Yes, thank you, Jim.
Wait another couple of seconds and see if we get any more questions or comments relating to the project before we decide to wrap it up for this evening. Again, Mr. Moore posted in the chat log that there is a link to our survey. We received a comment from Jamie Stevenson. Very much appreciated your presentation and collaboration with the town of Darien. Thank you, Jamie. It's been a pleasure to work with the town on this project and the Narrows Heights project, and we look forward to continuing our constructive collaboration well into the future for this. And we hope to have another successful project with the help of the town of Darien. Thank you, Jamie. So it seems like we've answered all the questions for this evening. We really appreciate everyone's feedback and their time as they listen to our presentation. We appreciate bearing with us as we feel our way through this VPIM process. It's new for us as it's new for you. And we appreciate you bearing with us as we try to put together an effective presentation. I think at this time we'll conclude this meeting, and we will look forward to any additional comments or questions you may have. Again, if you can drop us a line at the phone number or using the email for the next 2 weeks until November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you.